Off the exit.
Hey everybody, it's time for another edition of Off the Exit, and we have a very, very special edition of Off the Exit. Before we get to the spectacle of us eating hot dogs for 20 minutes, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of jump into current events. And we have what I believe to be one of our loyal listeners, but also an aficionado of the Bachelorette series.
Yes.
Jess Kanady. Jess, welcome.
Derek, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so nice to actually have a female voice on during the show.
Well, I'm glad that I could be it because there's a lot of men on this show. So it's good to break it up.
Yeah, we got to mix it up. So we're going to talk about the show, the current state of the Bachelorette, and all that, and we'll get there because I do watch the show. I get battered verbally by some of the guys who check Twitter and see that I'm tweeting about the Bachelorette. Sometimes they're like, what is this? I don't understand.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you and I have been having these conversations for years. And
Yes.
just off the air.
Yes.
But
Now we're
mostly
off the
at
exit.
lunch and at dinner or through
Yes.
text. But you and I have been talking about this a lot. So it's kind of nice that we can do it in a more formalized fashion.
Yeah, so one of the key things I want to talk about is there's a perception that guys should not watch a show because it's not manly. But I know guys who watch a show. You know guys who watch a show.
I watch with my husband Brian every week.
Yes. What is appealing about this show to you?
I think, it's funny. John Mayer, I love him.
Yes.
Obviously, very popular individual with the ladies.
Yes.
I think he described it best is just watching the production of the show. Like, if nothing else, if you can't believe that people can fall in love in that amount of time, you have to appreciate the production that goes into it and the puns and the funniness and the awkwardness. Like, it's just such a well-produced and a well-oiled machine that it's just been going so well for all of these years. Like, really think about it. It's so many seasons of them doing the same thing.
How many seasons have they done now?
Well, on last night's episode, I think they said Becca was the 14th Bachelorette.
Oh, my God.
So I'm thinking like at least 25 seasons, at least, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Between the Bachelor and Bachelorette. And I know they're considered different, like,
they're different
shows.
entities, sort of, even though obviously they cross-pollinate with contestants.
Yeah.
The show this year,
Okay.
for someone who is listening to this program who has not engaged at all, please give them a bullet point, a quick note on what this season, the surrounding concept of this season.
So this season's Bachelorette, Becca, she was on the last season of The Bachelor where Ari, and I never know how to pronounce his last name, but he was basically the Bachelor last season, and he had been on the show before many seasons back, and he got down to, I think, the top two. Was it the top two? And the girl who he was on with, she picked the guy that made the water, right? Do you remember him? He was my favorite. He had the hipster do before it was cool.
Yeah.
So loved him.
A lot of hipstering going on in these shows.
So much, especially now. But so he was the Bachelor last season. Becca made it to the final two. He picked Becca.
Yes.
And then in typical most dramatic season ever of The Bachelor, we saw that there was, I guess, they set up The Bachelor and whoever they pick at the end, they set them up to vacation together and a house to spend time together after the show. And it seems like they were together for only a few weeks, and they actually filmed Ari having a conversation with Becca to essentially end things with her after they, got on with the show and thought they were getting married, because he was afraid that the more time he spent with her, the less chance he had of reconciling with the other girl who he didn't pick. So basically, he broke up with Becca and immediately got together with the girl he didn't pick, but made it to the final two, Lauren. So, Bachelor Nation fell in love, and she became the Bachelorette. So it's been super exciting to watch her, and I think I wasn't really sure if I loved her because I didn't really love her on The Bachelor, but as the Bachelorette, I think she's awesome.
Yeah, she's easy on the eyes. That's one of the reasons why I watch the show.
Exactly.
It's easy to engage.
It's a bunch of women in bikinis most of the time.
Who would not?
How could you go wrong?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
who would not want to watch this? It was, it's a bunch of dudes. You're looking at beautiful women on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And then on The Bachelorette.
Beautiful men.
They're not putting any chumps on that show.
No. And it's funny because I was listening, maybe it was, I don't know whose podcast it was, but they were saying, do you think it would be better if they put more average people? And I do think, like, if you passed many of these people on the street, you might not, like, think twice about looking at them. But they really grow on you and their looks and their personalities and stuff. And you're like, wow, she's got, like, a really good batch of people to choose from. Like, good-looking, smart, accomplished, good personalities. Like, it's amazing.
Which is one of the interesting dynamics of this show to me, and one of the problems I think Becca is sort of encountering this season. Mm-hmm. All the guys have the playbook now.
Yeah.
Everybody has the playbook on hair, how to act. Like, you got to, everybody. Even my fellow African-American friends.
Yes.
They're reading from a similar playbook.
They are. I think I would have to do research on this, but I think there was the most black men on this season than any season so far, and made it the furthest.
Yes, this is
she likes a diverse group. Like, all her men are different, and I'm like, you go, girl. Get it. Because she has, like, equally loved on all the men. Good for her.
So let's get into the current product as is. The last two episodes in particular. Last night's episode. So there's been a lot of drama surrounding the last two episodes in particular with this clown Chris, who was finally eliminated on Monday Night Show.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
So happy she did that. He drove me crazy. So the last episode before last night's episode aired, I fell asleep because during the whole last half hour was him, like, trying to prove himself to Becca. So basically, in the episode before the last one, he did a really great job on the group date. So he thought, like, I don't really have to pursue Becca because I, like, did such a great job on the date. And he was kind of being a real cocky jerk. And she called him on it. She was pretty annoyed about it. So he kept apologizing to her, and it was boring. I'm like, enough with your apologies. He kept interrupting her. So this week's episode, I think he had significantly ruined every single date she was on that week. The 2 one-on-ones and the group date, she all had issues with him. So he went to go visit her to her room. She sent him home. Couldn't have been more proud of the girl. She no BS. I love that about her.
Yes, and I think that, not that what happened to her in the last season was great, but I feel like she's had less tolerance for nonsense in this show than previous contestants. One of the things I enjoyed from 2 shows ago now, the incident where Chris is trying to talk to Becca while Wells is out there.
Oh, yeah.
Also trying to talk to her.
Yeah.
And, this is where this show to me is so interesting because I always try to put myself in that situation. And I would just kind of cower and be like, okay, dude, you're good.
It's fine.
Yeah,
you definitely would be like
it's fun. I'll give you a couple minutes, whatever you need. And then, that's when you get knocked out of the competition. But this guy said, you had your time, sir.
Right, like, you're done.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And you have to walk the fine line because if you get too dramatic, you're going to get bumped off the show anyways. It's a very weird version of Survivor.
And last night, Garrett kind of put him in his place, too, which I loved because there's been some controversy around Garrett, but he basically called
He's the race guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the racist,
which
borderline racist tweets.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I hadn't heard about it, except I do listen to a lot of Bachelor and Bachelorette podcasts, so that's where I heard about it. But I never saw it circulating in the media or on Twitter. And I do Twitter just a little bit, but I'm disappointed to hear that. But I have to think that they've had some sort of, like, they don't show these conversations, but, like, political views, world views, like, I have to imagine they have had those conversations and nothing is, like, a surprise to her.
Right.
Now that filming is over. because I think he makes it pretty far, but he kind of put Chris in his place last night and said, like, enough now, because now you're not only ruining it for you, but you're ruining it for all of us, and I've just about had it. So I was like, yes.
Yeah,
and we've all had it, and we're tired of watching it.
So he went home, thankfully. Yeah. There's 6 people left now, one of which was Jason.
Yes, love him.
Yes. So this is an interesting dynamic of the show, and it gets into whether or not this show is somewhat of a work.
Yeah.
His friends show up in a bar, and she organized this.
Yeah.
How does she know? How does she know, A, who his friends are, and B, how does that happen?
I have to imagine when they're like interviewing them in the beginning that they must ask like all of these questions. Like, if we could bring your friends to a date, who would they be? Or like they must ask them like such like lengthy and like questions. And I also heard, because I listened to some Caitlin Bristow's podcast, that they will suggest who they should bring on certain dates.
Right.
So they might have suggested that like way in advance to her, so she was able to like plan that out. So like there is a lot of planning and a lot of behind the scenes stuff that takes place. And I mean, listen, if your friends are on the Bachelorette and you get called and they're like, tomorrow you got to be in Virginia.
Oh,
you're like, okay.
I'm there. Yes, I will make the arrangements.
Yeah. So, I love him though. What do you think about him?
I like him. He seems like a level-headed guy.
Yeah, like he's average.
Yeah.
But that's like love. Like I like always explain to people like those like super like low lows and the super high highs, like they only exist because they're opposite of each other. Like you want to find like good. Like you want to live in good and normal and like average, like which probably to some people sounds awful, but I feel like you don't want to be miserable.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't. It's like I was saying earlier with the playbook. Everyone's reading from the same playbook. So after a while, like all the hair product, all that stuff goes by the boards, and you have to know who the person is.
Right.
And to me, that's the key to winning this.
It's comfortable. They seem very comfortable together.
Yeah.
Which I like.
It makes sense. Some of the other stuff is forced.
Yeah.
It seems like she's making it work by and large. She seems to be like legitimately into just about every guy except the guy that looks like Yanni, Leo.
I think he's so handsome, by the way.
What?
I do. Well, okay. I think he's handsome. I think his hair is fabulous.
Yeah.
I wish I had his hair. But I don't like believe their connection, really. Like,
No.
You know what I mean? Like
she
gave him the rose, but like I definitely think he's gonna go next.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like him, but I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna go much further. And also, like their kisses are kind of weird.
Do you have a problem with the amount of kissing she's doing on the show?
No,
I feel like it's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like you got to earn this stuff.
Nah,
and I don't know.
But if you went on that many dates with someone, you would kiss them. Or if you like went on a first date and you really liked them, you would kiss them. And like think of this is like, man, good thing you have a woman on. Double standards. Freaking Ari kissed. He would like his nickname the Kissing Bandit, and that was like okay. And he was like kind of gross about it. Like he was always like grabbing their head and their hair, and like it was like so all encompassing.
That guy's a straight up creep. Have you heard the stories about him like randomly appearing at not frat houses, at sorority houses?
No, that's weird.
Yeah,
you're too old for that, bro. Like stop.
Yeah, he's like my age. I think he was like he's like 30s or something, like mid to late 30s.
I mean, I thought he was old. I think he's like late 30s. But I mean, when you're like out of college, it's no longer appropriate to go to frat and sorority parties because it's just not appropriate. No. Yeah, so stay out of those. I don't want to lose your job.
No, I don't go into those places. No, never.
Me either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any problem with it because I think if she likes them, that's a part of any relationship. So it's weird because she's kissing so many people, but she's also dating so many people. So I don't really think you can separate that.
Because all these guys are labeling basically this woman as their girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
and she the same. Like she's basically everybody's girlfriend and they're all her boyfriends. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess you got to have some level of comfort with the fact that you're dating that many people at a time, which is why they fall in love with more than, I don't know how you don't fall in love with more than one person in a situation like that.
How do they make the decision because there's all these guys seem to be on the same planet, in the same stratosphere.
Well, I forget where I heard it, but I think JoJo Caitlin, Bristow, and Rachel all picked the guy that they gave the first impression rose to.
Oh.
So
There's stats and metrics to this stuff.
Yeah. So kind of like the thought process is like they pretty much know pretty quickly what's going on and like how they feel, but they have to feel out all those other relationships too.
Yeah.
That's kind of just the feeling I get from listening to some like behind the scenes kind of stuff. I don't know. Obviously, I've never been on the show.
So we're down to 6, correct?
Yes.
Who are the 6?
So we have Garrett.
Yeah.
We have Colton.
Yeah.
She's got to send him home. Leo. We have Blake.
Yeah.
We have Wills. And, Jason.
Yes.
Yeah. I think definitely next week I'm thinking Leo goes home, and I'm thinking Wills goes home too.
You think?
Yes. You know, it's either Wills or Colton.
Yes.
But it's like very evident that she likes Colton to me. I don't know. I can't see it. I can't see anyone else. Maybe Blake. I mean, I feel like they have a connection, but it's been a while. I don't know. I think definitely Leo, but if she does, I don't know if next week she goes down to 4, she only has to let 1 go. So I think if it's just 1 next week, it's definitely Leo. If you have to guess hometown visits, 4, final 4, who are they?
Colton.
Okay.
Jason.
Okay.
Wills.
Okay.
Blake.
No Garrett?
Oh, I'm sorry. Garrett. Blake. What am I doing? Garrett. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
I
wrote down Blake's name, but
I wish
that's not
Wills
what I
would
meant.
shave his mustache.
I text you when I saw his hair for one of the first times.
Really?
And I was like, I was not enjoying his haircut. It just looks
I feel like he has a
bizarre.
cute face, but I
Yeah.
just can't get over the mustache. And I'm like,
It's
why do you have
kind of a creepy.
I'm like, why do you have a mustache?
Yeah.
And he also like has this like look in his eyes where his eyes never fully seem open to me.
I am stunned that he has gotten this far.
But it's like probably one of those things where they're like have a great connection, they're just not showing it type thing. But all I've seen them on is I think he probably goes on a one-on-one next week.
Probably.
Because she said that she said, where are they going? Bahamas or something?
Yes.
So she said something about the Bahamas. And I remember back when the preview started for the season that she was on a boat with Wills.
Yes. In very clear looking water.
Yeah. So she's definitely somewhere tropical with Wills. So I'm thinking she has one-on-one with Wills next weekend, makes that determination there. I mean, he seems lovely and all. I just don't think she has the same connection with him as she clearly has with some of the other guys. I hope she gets rid of Colton.
So we're gonna have you back.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm going to speak for the other 2, even if they don't mean it, even if they don't agree. I am glad you're here.
I might be able to get Rob on my side.
Yes, I think you work on him.
Kaz.
Yeah, work on him. Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But we will have you back probably definitely before the last show. But
got to.
once we get down to 4,
Yeah. Hometowns.
yes,
Deal.
we'll have you on to talk about the hometowns.
Okay.
Final 4, whole deal.
Well, that means we can't go to lunch like before we talk about it because we'll just wind up talking about it.
Yeah, and then
Waste all
you're
the good
ruining
stuff.
you're ruining the podcast.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
see, you're already thinking like a talent.
See,
Yes,
love it.
That's why you were in radio.
I was.
Yes.
I'm not, but I was.
Well, Jess, thank you very much for joining us
Thanks,
here on
guys.
Off the Exit. Stay tuned. We will have more, sadly, coming up next on the next edition of Off the Exit from the aftermath of the 2nd anniversary show, a hot dog eating contest that is still injuring my digestive system as we speak. So until next time, have a good one.
Subscribe to the Exit 58 podcast on iTunes and Stitcher by searching Exit 58 Podcast.